Ladies and gentlemen, you are once more welcome to my channel. It's always a pleasure, always a pleasure, always a pleasure having you. In the last video, I spoke about the man in dominion, the man in Genesis 2:25, and I spoke of the man out of dominion, the man in Genesis 3:7. But in that video, I made mention of Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 to 6, which I did not read. I only read verse 7 because that was where the point of interest was. In this video, I will want to shed a little light before I continue in the series of dominion. And I will start by reading Genesis chapter 3 from verse number 1. You can come with me if you have a Bible. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, Has God indeed said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God said, You shall not eat, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. Then the serpent said to the woman, You will not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Now, in this verse of scriptures, chapter 3, verses 1 to 6, this is where man underwent a transformation. The Bible said that the devil was more cunning than any beast of the field. To be cunning simply means to be crafty. To be crafty. To be deceitful. To bring up something very attractive, something very small that may not mean anything but can cause harm. Now, the devil is skillful in deception. He is a deceit. Each time he comes, he displays that craft, that skill, that cleverness in trying to sell to you something that will harm you, but you will not see it. He is so cunning. That's what the Bible means, but he is the most cunning creation God ever created. He can tell you about a bad thing and you may not know it. He can make you commit a crime that you think is not a crime. That's who he is. And that's what he did to the woman. Look at what he said. Did God say you should not eat? The woman said, Yes, God did say we shall not eat. Because the day we eat of that tree in the midst of the garden, we shall die. The devil said, No, you will not die. God just lied to you. God just deceived you. Because God knows that in the day you eat of it, you will be like him, knowing good and evil. And God doesn't want you to be like him, knowing good and evil. Now look at how small it is. The day you eat, you will not die. What does it mean to die? To pass away physically. To lose your body attributes. To sustain life. Now to be deceased. To exist. To expire from life. But he was telling her, no, God doesn't want you to be like, he just wants you to expire. He just wants you to be out of the way. He doesn't want your body for. He doesn't want you to be here at all. Small things, so you will not die. Because what? God knows the day you ate of it, you will be like him. You will know good and evil, and he doesn't want you to know it. And now the woman pondered over it and like, is it true that I will not die? So what is there in knowing good and evil that he doesn't want me to know it? And now she went to know the good and the evil. She already know the good. Now he introduced evil to her. It's so small, but it's attractive. Now, if you look at verse 6, now, so the woman saw the tree was good for food. Now, look at where he took her to. He showed it to her, and she saw that the tree was good for food, and also pleasant to the eye to behold, so she desired it. Now, to see simply means to perceive by sight, or to perceive mentally, or to imagine, or to conceive in the mind. Now, if you look at what happened to the woman here, she perceived with the eye, perceived it mentally, and imagined it. And when she imagined it, now her mind conceived it. And as soon as her mind conceived it, the desire came. Are you seeing how simple it is? He just showed it to her. Look, this is very beautiful. It's good. It's very pleasant. And now he let her mind ponder over it. And it's good. Now a desire set in. And this is where the problem comes. A desire, according to Oxford Learner's Dictionary, is defined as a craving for which you are willing to die, for which you are willing to lay your life. Now, a craving came into her to be wise. What does it mean to be wise? To be able to discern without God. To know something internally by yourself without God coming into the way. To possess a knowing. To be able to have a knowledge that is not given to just you by yourself. And who must, oh, I will be wise. So, and when I'm wise, I won't need God. So, I am also a wise person. And it dawned on her that no, this is something I need to achieve. This is something I need to seek. This is something I will need to acquire. I need to have it. And she went out for it. Her desire pushed her out for it, and she went to have it. She went to seek it on her own without God, and desired to have it without God. And she took the fruit and she ate. And through to eat, her eyes opened. But look at what happened. When her eyes opened, now she saw the bad thing God kept from her. They discovered that they were naked. And the moment they were naked, shame came in. And now they need to cover their own nakedness. So now man has become dependent on himself. He has become a God of himself. He doesn't need God anymore. Now he covers his own nakedness. Fear came upon him. And he had God in the garden. In times past, when God comes in, he rushes out to meet God. Now there's a separation. He runs away from God. He hides from God. And when God will call out, "Where are you?" I heard your voice in the garden, I was afraid. To be afraid simply means a fear, an apprehension, a regret, a worry, a sense of insecurity. They all come down on him. That was what the devil made him to know that he did not know. So I heard your voice and I hid. And God said, who told you are naked in the first place? Now this word was not given to him. Now he knows it. God knows. He can know this on his own. Who told you? How did you get know that you are naked? Did you eat of that tree that I say you should not eat? Look at Adam's answer. In Genesis chapter 2, the woman was the bone of his bones, the flesh of his flesh. She was taken out of man, so she be called woman. For her, man should leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Now, this same woman has become something else. Now look at his response to God. The woman you brought to be with me. Now the woman God brought. So now he is pushing back the blame of God on God. This is where man lost it. This is where he lost dominion. The moment he took his eyes away from God and put it on himself and goes out to achieve, goes out to acquire, goes out to possess, goes out to protect and defend himself, he just lost it. And that's where man lost it. We hear they said, the fall of man, man fall. But have you ever asked, where did man fall from? A height? A tree? One of the big animals? For sure, no. Man fall from grace. He fall from grace to works. If you read the Bible from Genesis chapter 1, you will discover that man was God's last creation. God put everything in place before he brought man. He thought for man. He knew what man wanted, and he made provisions for him. Before Adam would think of loneliness, there was a companion. Before he could think of food, it's already in the garden. Before he could think of a shelter, it's already made available. God gave him everything for nothing. Grace. It was purely unmerited. Whatever Adam had, every provision was unmerited. Here is Adam meriting it. That's the fall. Man fall from grace to works. The moment he can now know he's naked and he can cover his nakedness, he can hide, he can defend and protect himself. Now he has become God to himself. And what did God say? So Adam, you no longer can stay here. Now get out of this garden, go out there and merit everything, and that's the beginning of works. Listen to me. Dominion can only stand when you are dependent on God. When you are independent of God, then you are under dominion. So the man in 2:5 was the man in dominion. The man in 3:7 is the man under dominion. He just lost it. And how did he lost it? He fall from grace to works. The biggest sin today, the greatest thing in the church today, the greatest thing out there is works. Man has completely failed to understand, and he has turned his back on grace, and now he became a slave to works. Let's trust God. Let's trust what God has made available. Let's enjoy it. But understand that you are in dominion when you understand grace. Eden is grace. Outside Eden is works. I will see you in the next video. But before you go, subscribe, share. If you don't share, if you don't subscribe, you don't like it, this message will not go out there. You are blessed. Let somebody be blessed. I will see you in the next video.